Hey crafters! In today's video, I'll show you how to make this fabulous array of gift boxes. We'll do a pillow box, a mini gift box, and a mini party bag. We will use the Cricut Maker and put together the templates for these projects in Design Space. I will show you how to take the ready-to-make Cricut Access projects and combine them in a way to make something completely unique. I'll also talk to you about good workflow management in Design Space, and we will be using the slice and attach functions. So if you're not familiar with these, you'll get to see them in action. Let's take a quick look at the materials you will need. Each of the boxes will require 2 pieces of cardstock. I would suggest combining 1 plain cardstock and 1 patterned. You'll also need some double-sided tape and painter's tape or masking tape. Also, I'm going to show you what went wrong when I was testing these gift boxes. I had a bit of a craft fail, so I'm going to show you what happened and why so that the same doesn't happen to you, and also how I think I can salvage the situation. Let's open Design Space and I'll show you how to put the templates together.
So here we are in Design Space. I've opened a new blank project. I will come across to Images, and I would suggest keeping Cricut Access this tab selected so that you don't accidentally select an image which you have to pay additionally for. We'll search for pillow box, and this pink one here we can use. So you see when you select an image, it appears down here in the corner. That means it's in your queue to be put onto your canvas. Next, we'll search for lattice. Lots of lovely options. I chose this one. It has this solid section in the middle for your gift message. So insert. So I mentioned I would give some tips on good workflow management within Design Space. The first tip I have is whenever you do insert images, make a duplicate of them. And just keep it somewhere on your canvas, sort of out of the way. It just means if something goes wrong along the way when you're making changes to your original images, you've got the unaltered versions to easily go back to. The next thing I would suggest is to draw out your working area, so you know that the Cricut machine has got a maximum cutting area on the mat. We're using a 12 by 12 mat here, so our maximum cutting area is 11.5 by 11.5 inches, and that is 29.2 centimeters. So take the square shape, adjust the size, and I like to change the color. This gray color is a bit jarring for me, so let's go with something nice and pale, and then you can center back. So this is going to be our working area and lets us know what our maximum size is for when we're planning what we're going to cut. Okay, so you can see that the 2 images are in the wrong proportions. We want to size up the pillow box. Let's get it as big as we can. So let's zoom out a bit and just make this bigger. If you keep the lock icon on, it will retain its proportions. Now we're going to rotate this as we want to slice it out, this top portion of the pillow box. So come to rotate and hit 90 and then reduce the size here. So we don't need this sizing mat for the time being now that we've sized up our pillow box, so we can hide that. And we can align the lattice with the pillow box. So if you go align, center horizontally, so can you see that's adjusted that, so it's exactly in the middle now. Now what we need to do is we want to adjust this lattice so that rather than having these straight edges, it has a curved edge to match the shape of the pillow box once it's made. So how will we do this? So the first thing you need to do, take the pillow box and duplicate that and move it across here. And we're going to use the outside edges of this to help us get the curve into the lattice. Now, before I do anything, I want to show you what happens when we try and slice with the pillow box just as it is. So let's move it over here. bring that back to the front and select both. Can you see that slice down here is grayed out? You can't actually select it. The reason that you can't slice right now is because you don't only have 2 layers selected. You can only slice when you have 2 independent images. We actually have 3 because this pillar box, if you look here, it's made up of a cut line and a score line. So we have to detach the score line. As this pillar box we're only using to get the curves and the lattice, we can take the score lines and just delete them. We don't need them. So now if we select the 2 objects, you can see that the slice function is now available. So if you ever have trouble with slice, just make sure that you are only trying to slice 2 objects at one time. So now let's reposition this on our pillar box, align horizontally. Okay. Taking this edge of your second pillar box, bring it in. You can kind of match it up to these score lines and then sort of slide it in to kind of where you want to make your cut. Hide the original pillar box and then select these 2 and do a slice. So now we can get rid of this, get rid of that. And if you now bring this one back in, you can see it's nicely curved to match where these score lines are. So now we'll just repeat this on the other side. Take that out. Now I will bring this back up and send it back. So there you go. We started off with a square lattice and now we have these nice curves that match the edges of the pillar box. So we now will slice this lattice out of this pillar box. So again, you need to detach the score lines. So detach. And this time, take hold of the score lines and hide them. And then bring that lattice back to the front. Select the 2 shapes, the pillar box and the lattice, and slice. And then take away these bits. We don't need these, so we can delete them. And then you can turn on your score lines again. Center front and reattach. Now, those of you with keen eyes will have noticed we have a bit of a problem here, because while the slice looks good on the screen, you can see the pink areas are going to be the cardstock when it's cut. So for example, this little diamond shape here, it's completely detached from any other part of the cardstock. So when we cut, this will just fall away. So we need to do some contouring to fix this problem. So actually, we want to detach that score line because you can't do it when it's there. I want to zoom out a bit. And what we'll do is just click on the outline. So if you see, I'll zoom in a bit. This is the outline here. This is how we started off, and you can see what's happening back here. Here, the diamond shape is completely detached. If you click on the outline, it's now inverted the cut, and this diamond shape is now going to be what gets cut away, and the outside, the outline, is what will remain attached. So that is the finished template for the pillar box. You'll apply the exact same principles for the gift box and the gift bag. Just find the template that you want from images, slice out the lattice and contour. Right, there you go. That's all 3 of the gift bag options. So now we'll go to the make it screen. I select heavy cardstock. I don't have the scoring wheel, so I would edit the tools here to put in the scoring stylus. And then we'll go ahead and do the cut. We'll be using the fine point blade for this project, and as I don't have a scoring wheel, I'll be using the scoring stylus. Now you'll load your mat. I've used the painter's tape to stick down the cardstock on all 4 sides just to make sure it doesn't slip during the cut. And then just hit go. Once the cut is complete, we'll remove it from the mat. Remember to flip your mat and peel it away from the paper so that you don't get any curling into that cardstock. So now we're ready to assemble the pillar box. I cut out this insert card again on the Maker, and I will stick it down with some double-sided tape. Then just fold along all the score lines and attach the pillar box together with double-sided tape. Follow the same principles to cut and assemble the gift box and the party bag.
I hope you've seen that combining and customizing Cricut Access projects is so easy to do, and it really opens up the possibilities of what you can make with your Cricut Maker. The concept that we used of slicing one shape out of another can be used in so many different ways. For example, if you were making these boxes for Christmas, you could change the shape that you slice out of the box, say, to be a Christmas tree. Or if you wanted to give these on Eid, you could do the same with a moon and some stars. Or you could even go that one step further and slice out the recipient's name from the box. Alright, before we wrap up, let me show you the craft fail and what happened. So, for the gift box, I was using craft board. So this is a cardstock, but it's slightly thicker. And I ran it through the Cricut Maker once, and without thinking, I just unloaded. And then I noticed that it just hadn't cut all the way through. Oh, it was so annoying. I thought, okay, it's fine. It's cut most of the way through. I'll just use a craft knife and get around the edges and I'll be able to salvage it. But then I remembered all this intricate detail here from the slice that we did. And there's no way I was going to cut each of those pieces individually. So I was going to put this into my scrap pile. But then I actually realized that this intricate detail here, it hasn't cut all the way through. Enough that it looks more like it's been engraved. So I think I'll actually just finish the box off like this and leave this as just an engraving pattern. It's almost like I've discovered a hack. I don't have the embossing or engraving tool, but if I use a thicker cardstock and only use the fine point blade on it once, you kind of get the same thing. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see another fabulous way of giving gifts, check out my tutorial on how to do Japanese style origami gift wrapping just here. And if you're not yet a Cricut Maker owner and you want to know what it's all about, I have done a full review of that, so you can see that as well. Until next time, happy crafting!